Same tag will work. So I'll now create rule for page view and then for click tracking. So let's say I want to track all the page views on the site. So I'll say I provide a name. Let's say page load rule. And then under events, I will select like this code extension, which is already there by default. It will provide me a range of events here. So I'm creating a page load rule, so I have to create choose some of these events. If it was target, I would have selected page top because I want target call to fire as soon as I'm there on the page. But if it's for other things like Adobe Analytics, it's best to have it at page bottom because once the page loads, entire data layer and everything is available, then it's okay. This is just for tracking. We are not personalizing any content. So we can send all that data after that page load. So we can select page bottom from here, select keep changes. And if you want to give any condition, so nowadays we have cookie policies where we can track only if the user has provided their consent. So we can select that as a condition. So for that, what we'll do, I'll just save this and show you. First of all, you can create a data element. You can also write a custom code for it, but data element provides some options to do that. So let's say I want to capture some value from a cookie. So I'll select cookie. I'll provide a name to it, and then I'll provide a cookie name from which I'm capturing that value. So here under applications, I can see all the cookies that are firing on my site. So I can select the cookie name from here. Whatever will be the value will be populated here. So let's say there is a cookie consent. Currently it's set to test, and then whatever value is there, that's getting populated. Now I want to check if this test cookie has value of true, then I want to fire it. So I'll select a condition. I will say cookie, or I can give the value from here. Otherwise, what I can do, I can select value comparison. I can select my data element cookie consent equals true. So only if the value is true when the user is selecting the option to be tracked, then only my client has said I should track anything in analytics. So I'll set that as a condition. If I want this rule to fire only on certain pages, I can select this option, path and query string. So you can give the path here that let's say if the path contains, I'm creating some kind of rule on this page. Okay. So this is my path. I can provide that as a path that would only fire the rule on this page. I can give that condition. So I'll not give that condition. Currently, I want my rule to fire on all page views whenever the user is providing consent. Then under action, you will select Adobe Analytics. You will select send beacon s.t or s.tl, that you need to fire a page view call or a link tracking call. So I want to fire a page view call. So I'll select page view. Now I also want to select the some variables. Let's say I just don't want to fire a page view call. I also want to fire some data like EVA1, EVA2, all those things. So I'll select set variables. So in this case, whenever I am deciding to set some variables, I need to choose that as a first action before sending beacon. This is a common mistake that people do, that they set variables after send beacon and then they say I can't see any evars and props in my beacon. That's because the order is important here. So first, if you want to send any data on the page view or a link tracking call, you need to set variable and then send a beacon. So under set variables, we'll select the evars and props that we want to populate and the value for it. So for that, you can either select any data element value or even you can hard code it. So let me create some dummy data elements and populate those values in evars and props. So I will go under data element. In data element, see there are so many options. If I want to capture some value from data layer, so we discussed data layer yesterday. Let's say my developers are passing some value in data layer, so I can select that data layer name. I will give first digital data and whatever path is there. So let's say I want to capture this value topic. Okay, so I'll say digital data dot attributes dot topic. So this is the path that I'm taking. Like first is the data layer variable, then the sub object, and then the sub like key. So if I want to have the topic here, I'll select that. I'll select save. Now, let's say I want to pass page URL. Simple thing. So either I can write a custom code saying document dot return document dot location dot href. If you know JavaScript, you can write this code and return the value of URL. Simple thing. Otherwise, Adobe also provides us some direct option for doing that. See, there are so many options here: conditional value, constant, custom code, device attribute, DOM attribute, all these things. So if you want to pass any page URL, you can select page info, select URL value, and the URL value will be passed. If you want to pass host name, path name, select the required attribute from here. Click on save and a page URL, and then you can add other data elements that you want to pass. For this example, I'll just select these two. I'll set it into some evar. So in solution design document, you have already decided that which element to use for what. So you'll select this from here. And let's say I want to pass page URL in some prop. Select that from here, or if you want to save it in some evar, you can say add another and select that. And then whatever event you want to pass it as page view, another thing. So make sure that values that you are selecting here, those are enabled. People make this mistake. They select an event prop and eval from here, define it in debugger. Also in network tab, they'll say the data is going, but in workspace report, the data is not showing up. That's because that variable is not enabled. So first create report suite, enable all the variables that you need, also do the documentation in the SDR, and then start the implementation. So select the event that you want to pass for every page view. And whatever things I did through data element, I could have done from this custom code here as well. I could have written s.evar1 equal to document dot location dot href. I could have passed this value directly instead of creating that data element also. That's a possibility. Or if I want to pass something in an if condition, if document dot location dot path, or let's say href only, dot index of, mm, I'll pass some value if it's a beauty page. So if the page URL contains href, then I'm setting this value. So this rule is firing on every page, but then it will take this if condition, and If I want to hard code some value, I can do it in this manner, or I can also select any data element here. If you want to select a data element in custom code, you'll use this function underscore satellite dot get var. I'll give you a reference of all these functions that we are talking about. The Adobe documentation has links to everything. There are multiple functions. So if I want to pick up a data element value in custom code, you need to write it in this manner underscore satellite dot get var and the name of the data element. Okay, you can give that or topic, whatever you want. So you can either define it that way or in the custom code. If you want to give something, you can give from here. Same way when we were sending a beacon, I selected that option send beacon. You can also do it from here. That way you don't have to provide that additional action. You can set s.t and all the data will be sent as a page view. If I say s.tl, then this data that you are defining will go as link tracking. But no need to do from here. Just select everything that you want to pass. Select keep changes and then in send beacon define how you want to send the data. Keep changes and once you have done this, you need to clear all the variables. So now EVA's props that you're defining in one rule, if there is similar condition on some other rule, it will show up there as well, the other rules that are running on the page. So if there was a page view call on this page and then there was a link tracking call, let's say whenever people are clicking on this account option, we are tracking that interaction as well. So if I would have not cleared the variables, then all the variables that I have defined in page view will also be showing up in that link tracking call, which I don't want because I'm not creating any global variables for now here. All the variables that I'm defining in this rule should stay within page load rule. I don't want it to be carry forward for other rules. I'll define other rule for click tracking. So it's a good practice. Always clear your variables in any rule and then click on save. So this is how we create a page view rule.